E-Racing GP returns to your screens for Season 5. What we thought would just be a temporary relief from the COVID-19 pandemic has turned into a series in its own right. Not one, not two, not three, not four, but 5, and an endurance edition. And it's all the responsibility and the fault of that man, Alex Young, alongside me. Alex, congratulations. Season 5, your thoughts coming into this season?
Wow, I mean, we've just seen the whole e-sport, just e-racing in the region just build and build and build. And we've seen so many great championships come. Season 5 is still going and it's going really strong. We've seen some other great championships come up, like E1 Championship as well, the creme de la creme. But now we're the creme de la creme all driving in the gold class. We just had the copper gold, we had the bronze, and we just had the silver, and now we're in the gold class. We had some super exciting racing last year. Every year is super exciting. Every season is super exciting, and I think this one's going to be the same.
Indeed. You mentioned last year 1 point separated first from second after all of the races. Dylan Tan, not yet a teenager, there was a man who won it, but he won it on the final round of the season. Here's the very best of a thrilling sporting event. Naquib Azlan in the blue and white is on pole. Red lights are out and we are underway. Naquib is off to a solid start, but there's a problem for Dylan Tan. No, Dylan's just held on. Down at the back, Ayman Aqeem, he's been caught up as well. Ayman Aqeem looking forward, he's lost a place, but it's Naquib Azlan, Dylan Tan.
But for now, all of them are still there. How long is this going to go for?
How much contact are you allowing on the game today, Alex? Is it full contact today?
There's never full contact. I mean, contact is allowed as long as you don't push your driver offline. 3 abreast us!
Thasbeeh goes into P2 around the outside of Naquib. Nabil and Dylan are there. This is only lap 2, guys. You've still got the exciting bit to come. But Muhammad Thasbeeh, he can still win the title. Naquib can win the title. Dylan can win the title. Tadashi way down. He's in P7 and Ayman Aqeem in P8. Thasbeeh looks around the outside. Alex Young.
Wow, Thasbeeh's going to try and go around the outside. That is so impressive. What a great move by Thasbeeh. I'm surprised how aggressive Thasbeeh is on these first few laps. He had a poor start, and sometimes when a driver has a poor start, you get the red miss on, and it looked like it was red miss. But if he continues that sort of pace, his tyres aren't going to last the whole race, and then he's going to be in trouble.
And look at Dylan Tan as well in P3. The dueling between Dylan and Naquib in that first lap. Again, that will have a major impact on the tyre wear, so maybe they're just going to have to cool it down or so for the next 5 minutes, because the first 4 minutes were just exhilarating. Thasbeeh looks backwards. That's what he can see in his rearview mirror. The blue of Naquib Azlan of Malaysia. The red and white of Singapore of 11-year-old Dylan Tan. Dylan has been the story of the season so far, but the slightly more grizzled and experienced Naquib and Muhammad Thasbeeh don't want the kid to get the news. Naquib makes a move on Thasbeeh, closes the door. What can Naquib do? Tries to go on the inside. Naquib chasing there. When they cross the finish line, the race is now over. It's do or die for Naquib Azlan. Alex Young.
It's going to come down to the last hanger straight, I think. Oh, and Naquib swings into the lead. What happened?
And Dylan goes into P2. Thasbeeh loses that long-held lead. Naquib Azlan makes his move. And Naquib and Dylan Tan will be shooting it out for the championship in the final race. Poor old Thasbeeh.
Thasbeeh has a puncture. I think he might have a puncture. He just ran out of tyre just on the last lap.
But it will mean that if Naquib wins and Dylan is second in race number 2, gosh, it could be all square. It could be all square. We could be coming down to fastest laps. Naquib Azlan gets the victory. Puff of the cheeks. Final shootout. The red lights are on. We are on board with Naquib Azlan. He is the man who's got Dylan Tan to his left. The race is underway. At the front, Ryan Keith and Nabil Azlan. Dylan has made a fast start and Naquib has just stayed out of trouble, which is pretty sensible. But Ryan Keith off to a good start.
Okay, so they also have to watch out for tyre wear. These drivers have to be careful. Dylan's really pushing the tyre wear. He's really braking late. Oh, wow, but it's a great move. And he's got Brody Steen nicely. And now he's up to 5th position.
5th position for Dylan Tan. We must not forget there is a race going on. Nabil Azlan is leading from Ryan Keith. From Ayman Aqeem to Dashi. Yevon David is in P4.
Oh, Dylan braking super late and makes it down. What a...
Oh, Dylan spins! Dylan Tan spins! A look of shock, a look of horror, because everyone has gone past him. The championship changes in a moment. Naquib Azlan is now in P7. But Thasbeeh's probably a little bit too far behind. Where is Thasbeeh?
Ayman takes the lead. Ayman takes the lead.
So it's a Dashi in the lead. 25 points possibly for him. Is Thasbeeh still in the reckoning?
Yeah, see, but this is the thing, you know. I mean, Dylan's going to take some more points. So it's not over yet. Dylan can still win this. If he can just take a couple of positions.
Naquib Azlan, he's been so close. Thasbeeh is in his sights, as is Nabil Azlan, as is Ayman Aqeem Tadashi. But the time is up. We are now on the final lap. DRS implemented by Naquib Azlan. And Naquib Azlan, he goes into a podium position ahead of Thasbeeh. Thasbeeh spins away. Naquib Azlan was strong and he was powerful. Thasbeeh didn't like it, but Thasbeeh was brushed aside. Naquib Azlan will, with this podium position, barring a catastrophe, get the 3rd place that will make him the champion. Tadashi looks like he's going to take the win, but I tell you what, Naquib is coming into P2. Nabil lets him go by, his brother.
He's not letting him go by. He's fighting hard. Nabil's fighting really hard.
And so's Thasbeeh, for that matter.
Wow.
The race is won by Ayman Aqeem. Nabil 2nd, Thasbeeh 3rd, Naquib in 4th. Naquib Azlan, we think, has won the title. Dylan Tan got himself up into P7. But he didn't win the title. Thank you, brother Nabil. Nabil knocking Naquib on the last corner of the last race of a long season. If you were watching that and didn't think it was good sport, then you're on the different page to me. That was thrilling, Alex Young.
Yeah, so, I mean, Naquib, I would not have liked to be in that household when that happened. Naquib must have been furious. And now, you think about it, we've had 4 global editions, and I believe Naquib has finished 2nd in all 4 of them.
And one of them on a countback of races that he lost, and the other one by a single point, having been kicked out by his brother. Thank you, brother Nabil.
Well, that's why we got such exciting race in the RGP. That's why it's so awesome, and it's so great to have all these sponsors involved.
I was going to say, it would be remiss of me not to mention, or us not to mention the sponsors on board. Who have you got on board with us this season, Alex?
Those ones down there, obviously. Of course, Race Room, one of the best sim games in the world, if not the best. Really, really great support of what we're doing here in Asia Pacific. Of course, X Park, you're seeing them. They are an extreme park. They're all sorts of stuff, ATVs, motocross, horse riding, you name it. It's all over Malaysia. Royal Selangor, worldwide brand, real iconic brand here in Malaysia that does pewter, beautiful pewter. And actually, this is a prize for the Endurance Edition. So the sim races in the virtual world get real life prizes. The winners in the Global Edition get a slightly different trophy, but still really nice ones. And of course, Motorsport Playground, they wrap cars, they wrap race cars, and they're probably the biggest rapper in Malaysia. And of course, Life produced all these shirts, and producing the ERGP winner shirts for winners this season as well.
Excellent. Thanks for running through that. Thank you for the sponsorship, but mostly thank you to the racers, because they are making this genuine sport. Listen, we're in practice. We're at the Red Bull Ring. It's 2 races that you've got today. We've got qualification, which is worth 5 points, 4, 3, 2, 1 for the top 5. Then you've got a regular race, and then a reverse grid race, and you're keeping that format for the whole season.
Well, keeping it for this season, we sometimes throw in 40-minute races, which we will do on occasion. But this being the first race in a while for Global Edition, we decided to keep for all the classes, copper, bronze, silver, and gold, the same format of 2 15-minute races. Okay,
and we're also at the Red Bull Ring. Just to have a closer look at the Red Bull Ring, we've got a pre-prepared flying lap on board with Singaporean-based Finn Miko Nasi.
Alright, welcome to the Red Bull Ring. It used to be called the Österreich Ring, when it was originally built in 1969. And then also the A1 ring in 1996. And the layout now is pretty much the same as it was in 1996, except for these asphalt runoff areas all over the place. So instead of gravel and grass, they've got asphalt, and that comes into play in places like turn 1 here. You'll notice we actually go towards the left. Gives us much wider entry into the corner, and gives us more speed going onto the straight. This long straight here is great for DRS. Definitely use it if you have it. Braking here uphill for turn 2, just after the 100-meter board, and carefully getting on the power here on the exit. There's a crest there, and it's a little bit bumpy, so it's super easy to light up the rear tires and even spin out there. And coming to our first downhill braking zone, turn 3 here. Again, using a lot of the road on the left-hand side on the entry, just to widen the corner for us. And patient with the throttle on the exit there as well. Now we're coming up to some of the slightly higher speed corners. Being careful of the brakes. Again, using all the road here. And then some. You probably don't want to use DRS here. The straight isn't super long. You want to save it for the start-finish straight. Turn 7. Get on the curb on the inside if you can. Patient with the throttle there for the final corner, and activate DRS again if you still have it. And that's the lap of the Red Bull Ring. Thanks for watching. Enjoy the races.
We will enjoy that race. Miko Nasi, though, will not be on board, Alex, because one of the occupational hazards of e-racing GP is connectivity, and we understand that there's problems for Miko to join us for race number 1.
Yeah, I mean, he put a time on the leaderboard. He's been practicing for E1 Championship as well, but his PC, he just can't load race room since yesterday today, so he's had to do a full, I think he's doing a full install, so there's no chance he's making it today, unfortunately.
Okay, so let's focus on those who are here. And Naquib Azlan, as you say, 2-time runner-up. Couldn't get any closer. He has won other championships, but in terms of e-racing GP, he is the perennial bridesmaid.
Yeah, it used to be Josh Purwien that used to be the perennial bridesmaid. But now Naquib Azlan, you have to say it. That's 4 global editions in a row now, and he's finished runner-up. Had some great battles. It's always gone down to the very last race. Like you said, there was one race where he was tied in points and he lost on count back. Then we just saw Global Edition 4. He lost to Dylan Tan after his own brother knocked him off on the last corner of the last lap. So he's had some tight races, but he's a quality driver, and he'll definitely be a firm favourite to take the championship this year.
Here is the guilty brother, Nabil, as you say. Have you spoken to them about it, what the reaction was? I know Naquib's a very chill kind of a guy, but it's not nice to be knocked out by your brother to cost you a title.
Yeah, I would have killed my brother, I think. But they're a super nice family, a family of 4 brothers actually. So I think they're probably used to it by now, and they have their own mechanisms of dealing with it, I'm sure.
Another notable guy to have on board, Haris Zephi. He won the silver edition, the silver championship last year. You have 4 categories, so racers can make their way up the scale. Haris Zephi won silver quite convincingly. How do you think he'll cope with the gold class?
I think he'll be really strong. And he's one of the success stories of VRGP, because he came in on copper class, right? He didn't win copper. I think he finished runner-up in copper. Then he went up to bronze for Global Edition 2. Didn't win bronze either. I think finished runner-up in bronze. Then went up to Global Edition for number 4. I think he went to silver. For 3 and 4 he's at silver, and he finally won silver in Global Edition 4. So now he's in gold, and I think he'll be fine.
And we are very international as well. I'll focus here on Gav Quintos, but the Philippines have got a very, very strong representation. Gav Quintos is another who's made his way up the grades. He'll be competitive. He'll be fun to watch, because Gav is one of those racers who takes risks out on the circuit.
Yeah, he does. Didn't have a very good silver edition, did he, just now? Silver class, he struggled a little bit, but he is really exciting to watch. I don't think he quite has a pace to run at the front, but he'll be firmly stuck in the midfield and getting really stuck in for sure.
But the likes of Inigo Anton and Joaquim Garrido, they
Yeah.
are capable of getting to the front. So the Philippines could well be outsiders here because Dylan Tan's not involved, but Naquib is there. Is Naquib going to break his duck? Is it fifth time lucky? Well, the season gets underway. It's a 5-round season and qualification is just underway. We are on board with Gav Kintos, but let's go on to somebody like Muhammad Thasbeeh, who's he's very, very quick. He was involved in that last race drama as well, and Thasbeeh for BMW. Maybe this is the time when Thasbeeh steps up because he's so often in Alif Hamilton's shadow that Thasbeeh is rather overlooked, but he's a fine racer in his own right, Alex.
Yeah, he is. I mean, Thasbeeh is going to be very strong for sure. He could win the championship, actually. He's not a dark horse. He'll be one of them that'll be very strong, and be very keen to see how he does.
This is he's fastest. He's the first one out there. It's a 5-minute qualification opportunity. There is Thasbeeh looking very chilled. His hair's grown quite a bit. A few unnecessary curls in there for Thasbeeh, but he's just taking this right-hander here very nicely. Fastest through Sector 1, 19.89. What are we looking at? We're looking to get into the low 120s?
Absolutely. And I spoke to his brother, Muhammad Alif. And of course, Alif's won with us before in Global Edition. He's a 3-time winner with us, in fact. And he said Thasbeeh is super motivated. He's super focused on trying to win Global Edition 5. And look at that. Purple in Sector 1, purple in Sector 2. And Thasbeeh looks like this is going to be a really good lap.
It certainly does. That's super quick. Anything under 56 you've got to look at with real respect. He's looking very, very controlled as he comes down this right-hander. Then he's got this long right-hander to take him into the final lap. The final thing. Sorry, I'm on board Joaquim Garrido there. It's Thasbeeh we want to be on board. There is Muhammad Thasbeeh, and the time is... Well,
wow.
It's only just quickest. Inigo Anton has put in a super duper lap. Inigo a 1:25.8. That's impressive as well from Inigo.
Wow, really good job. Inigo, he's a bit of a qualifying specialist. Doesn't go so well in the races, but he's always fast in qualifying, isn't he? Now down to P2, turn 2, and he's looking really strong here as well.
Inigo Anton. Ayman Aqeem is also up there in P3 as well, but Inigo...
Oh, this is going even quicker in Sector 1.
He has,
he's looking
hasn't
good.
600ths only, but you've got that momentum going, and if you can get the angles just right. Oh, he's lost a little bit there.
Yeah, he'll be annoyed with that. That's it. He's going to reset. He's not happy with that at all.
Reset indeed. Josh Purwien is the man who's fastest at the moment. Josh Purwien in the Mercedes, the Australian, a 1:25.4. He's taken... Well, 1.16 of a second off Muhammad Thasbeeh. That is quick from Josh.
Wow. So Purwien, talking to him recently, he last won a race in E-Racing GP a year ago. In fact, in I think it was in Motegi in Japan. Remember the Global Edition 1? He hasn't won a race, although he's always at the front. He's not won a race for a long, long time. Could this be the day he breaks his duck?
Just for the viewers who may not have seen this, you just saw Josh having a little chat into his headphones there. Who's he talking to, Alex?
He'll be talking with some of his friends on Discord. Josh is a proper gamer. I've been on Discord with him when he's driving because he has done some races with Axel Sports. And he's non-stop talking, non-stop listening to music. I don't know how he does it. The real life races, when they jump on the sims, they cannot have anyone talking to them. Josh will have people talking to them, and he'll be talking to people as he's going flat out doing a qualifying lap. I don't know how he does it. He's a real proper gamer. He was, of course, wow, look at that. He's purple in Sector 2 as well. He was also the McLaren Shadow Asia Pacific finalist. So he went to McLaren Formula 1 team in the UK as the youngest finalist. I think he finished 4th or 5th. But yeah, real world-class talent.
Well, let's see if he can go faster. He's 200ths quicker, 300ths quicker over his fastest lap. Ayman Aqeem Tadashi has got himself into P2, but Josh Purwien currently in P1. Does he improve his time? 1:25.4 is the answer, and the answer is no. He's still on pole. Inigo Anton for Haris Zephi. Alex, you mentioned that he could well be a dark horse, and he's got himself into P5, but no Naquib Azlan.
And no Nabil Azlan. Both of the Azlan brothers have not done a lap. Is there enough time? There's 22 seconds left. So Naquib's right now going, he has to finish this lap as he goes through the last corner. Where is this going to put him, though?
Naquib Azlan, no time at the moment. And then suddenly... Naquib, where are you? P5 and Nabil P6.
Wow.
They just got in.
That was scrappy by the Azlan brothers. Just leaving it too late. I wonder how much practice they've had. But what a great pole for Josh Purwien. He's been winning in iRacing, actually. He's been winning in a lot of work. He actually won a top split at Bathurst 12 Hour recently. So, you know, he's just raced his game, actually, over the winter. And look at that. Pole position. Wow. Purwien's going to be hard to beat today, I feel.
Absolutely terrific. Okay, right, we've got 2 races coming your way. This is E-Racing GP. We are going around the Red Bull Ring, and the circuit, as you can see, there's a lot of straights, long straights,
yeah.
Alex. It's a very flowing circuit, and then you've got the intricate element. Amo Hazik will be joining me for the commentary. Alex was just talking us through the intricacies, the start-finish line, and then the long straight into corner number 2, Remus, really makes it a fun event. But we are just about to get underway. 24 seconds. Amo Hazik, welcome along to E-Racing GP. How about that, Josh Purwien on pole?
Yeah, absolutely. It was an absolute stonking lap. I mean, in fact, he said to me before that he wasn't planning to take this seriously, but judging by the way he qualified, he is definitely going to try to mount a challenge for the championship.
It was a fabulous, fabulous start for him. Amo Hazik and Des Corkill on board. Inigo Anton. Let's see how Inigo gets on. Inigo is in the grey car, the left of your screen. The red lights at the top of your screen. When they go out, we are underway for Season 5 of E-Racing GP. Anton off to a good start, but so is Josh Purwien. Behind them, Tadashi. The 2 pink cars leading the way. Everyone's got away nice and safely, Amo Hazik. Or have they?
Almost, everybody. One of the Mercedes. That looked like Adrian Ferguson. I think he went into the MotoGP escape road.
Yeah, there is Adrian Ferguson. He is out of the way. But Josh Purwien, after a very good pole, qualification, on pole, and he's leading the way. But behind him, what a scrap. Anton, Aqeem, Tadashi, Thasbeeh, Naquib, and Nabil Azlan.
A bit of a shades from the end of last season, because the 3 were together that time and they're together again.
Josh Purwien leading the way. Are you, when in your gaming times, Amo, do you like to lead or do you like to be in the chasing pack?
A bit of both, but if my car is not performing well, I'll definitely like to be in front, because I can defend with all of my life. If my car was performing quite well, I'd rather be behind so that I can attack the guy in front.
Interestingly, these 3 have been able to pull away. Naquib Azlan in P4 is leading the rest of the little group. Naquib is the man who probably starts this season as favourite, but he won't like that because he's never been able to win the championship. Behind him, Thasbeeh in the yellow, Nabil and Haris Zefi. What a great start from Haris Zefi. As we come to the end of lap 1, let's go on board with Josh Purwien, because he's going to come under pressure from Inigo Anton here, Amo.
He was smiling along the way prior to the corner. He was probably chatting to someone on Discord. But yeah, he will not be smiling for long, because the guys behind now have DRS, because we've ended 1 lap, and the guys who are within 1 second of each other, they can have the DRS. And look at that, Inigo Anton tries to go the outside at Remus corner.
But Josh Purwien is able to defend, but the DRS really makes a difference. Josh Purwien overcooks it, and we have a new race leader, Amo, and it is from the Philippines, Inigo Anton, and he has taken Ayman Aqeem Tadashi through with him.
And Ayman also has DRS. He's going on to the inside. Does he get moved on? No, he doesn't. He had a look at it, but Inigo Anton was well aware as well, and he manages to stamp on the anchors ahead of the Malaysian. And Josh is getting swamped up by the rest of the field as well after losing out. He will actually get the benefit of DRS next time round, but that mistake may just be a bit of a beneficiary for him. It might be a blessing in disguise, because he can now focus on catching the guys in front.
We have got one heck of a long train here, 1 through 14. Everybody is nip and tuck on each other. Inigo Anton from the Philippines, who's a real racer who made quite a name for himself as a kid in the Philippines. Well, he's making a name for himself also here on E-Racing. But is it just me, Amo, or does he look like he's struggling a wee bit?
Maybe initially, because, you know, this is the first time that these guys have been in a race situation, barring from the practice races, of course. But this is actually now in the proper championship stakes, and he might just be having a bit of jangled nerves initially. But as the race will go on and the car just gets settled in, he might just, reduce those steering inputs.
He did look a little bit tense there, but he is leading the way. Tadashi, though. Tadashi has got ice in those veins of his. And Muhammad Thasbeeh in the yellow. Well, Alex Young in the pre-race spoke about Thasbeeh being a genuine contender. You can subscribe to that theory that Thasbeeh could well take his brother's crown.
In fact, that he also finished third last season. Third last season with Ayman in fourth. They are two drivers who are hell-bent on trying to actually take that crown away from the kid who's not racing this road, which is Dylan Tan. So it opens up yet again an opportunity to win the championship as Ayman goes around the outside of Inigo. Inigo holds firm on the inside. Ayman goes through into the lead.
Ayman Aqeem Tadashi takes the lead in the pink. A long way to go, but we've had 4 minutes of constant toing and froing of racing. Nabil and Naquib Azlan in 4 and 5 will be happy that these two are scrapping in front of them. The battle for P2, just look how close it is, look how congested it is, Ammo.
Yep, and it might actually be helpful for the guys in fourth that they are actually towing each other when the front three are going to be scrapping like we're seeing right now. Ayman will be next to be a sitting duck, as because Anton behind him and Thasbeeh will both have DRS as Thasbeeh goes onto the inside and Niki Lauda curve and makes the move stick. That's a first because we have not seen a BMW up here all race. The rest of it is just Mercedes. He's the only lone BMW up in that top 5.
But it's right on the tail is Inigo Anton, and Thasbeeh will feel the pressure. Ayman Aqeem is the man who's in the front, but look how close that is. Nose to tail, 1 through 10, 11, 12. Mohammed Zini and Ung Cheng down in 11 and 12. They're close into the action as well. You can't count out a podium for any of these top 12, Ammo.
No, you can't, and especially the fact that given the previous silver class race, anything can happen when there's people desperate trying to make maneuvers early and try to break away from the peloton. We're going to use that term again after we saw the last few DTM races, where if anyone could make a gap for themselves, like at least more than a second, they can break away from them, like in Tour de France, that the sprinters will try to get away from the rest of the pack, known as the peloton.
Ayman Aqeem is the man at the very front of that peloton as they come up and down. It's a beautiful circuit, this. The undulations make it fabulous to look at. So many good vantage points, both from a TV and a real life perspective, and obviously the virtual perspective that we've got here as well. It's Ayman Aqeem Tadashi, though. He will be under immense pressure from Thasbeeh, Inigo Anton, Nabil and Naquib in the blue. Thasbeeh goes through into the lead at the Niki Lauda curve. And then loses it.
Yep, he just outbraked himself because he had the DRS. He had a lot of speed, so he needed to brake as early as possible to get the move done. But unfortunately, he broke a bit too late there, and it allowed Ayman to get back at him. But now, Nabil's joining the fray, and this is going to become a 4-way battle for the lead.
There is Nabil, a little bit close there. He's got himself into P3 ahead of Thasbeeh. Thasbeeh and Nabil are literally side by side, and Inigo Anton is the man who has retaken the lead. Look at that. Tadashi is being eased out by Nabil Azman. Nabil likes to ease people out on corners, though he normally leaves it to the last race or the last lap of the season.
You will not want to mention that back to Naquib. He'll probably have PTSD thinking about it. But thing is, though, he was actually rear-ended by Nabil for a second there, and luckily he didn't spin out. But Ayman now is just holding the fort here in second place. Oh, Inigo goes slightly wide as he tries to pull the DRS open early, and that might give the opportunity for the other drivers to catch up to him.
It doesn't seem to cost you as much if you go off the circuit on the virtual. If you did that in a real racing situation, as Naquib Azlan gets all over the back of Nabil, just while all this scrapping is going along. Look at the line that Naquib is taking, Ammo. He's completely different to anybody else, and then he's under pressure from Josh Purwien.
And he was actually defending from Purwien there. He went right up to the wall, almost Senna style, or Schumacher, whichever you want to refer to. He really wanted to defend that position, but now he's left himself vulnerable to the other drivers, especially with the likes of Skylight, and I think that was Jin Masvilden as well involved. As is that a change for the lead? Ayman actually has probably taken the lead around the outside of it, as there's plenty more change of position further behind.
1 through 8. You saw the squealing of tires. You saw the rubber being left on the surface. This is a high quality race number 1. We're just halfway through race 1 of 10 in this season. E-Racing GP Season 5. Ayman Aqeem has held on to the lead, Ammo. He temporarily lost it, but since that first corner, he's been able to hold off everybody. Thasbeeh the latest to put the pressure on.
In fact, actually, he also got the DRS. In fact, we saw just now, he managed to pull a bit of a gap slightly to Thasbeeh. Now, will he actually be able to deploy the DRS this time? No, he hasn't actually. So, Thasbeeh now will have the opportunity to take back the lead unless he's going to wait for another batch of DRS to be deployed. And Naquib will be waiting gleefully behind as well to actually take the lead.
Yeah, Naquib Azlan has gently manoeuvred himself into P3. I'm not sure if gently is the right adjective today because there is so much competition. It is a bumper car stuff between the front 3, front 4, front 5. Nabil Azlan overtakes Inigo Anton. So there's contact there on that corner. Inigo bashes Nabil back. Naquib staying out of problems. Thasbeeh and Tadashi still leading. 6 minutes to go. We are now on to lap number 7.
And around the outside goes Thasbeeh. Does he make it stick? Oh, that is a very, very close one. But he has the DRS and now he can pull away. Ayman again has to fend off for his life, being a sitting duck against an armada of Mercedes cars right behind him. Everyone going for the Mercedes. It seems to be the meta car in the 2016 DTM series.
It is the DTM. Naquib goes through into P2. He follows Muhammad Thasbeeh. Ayman Aqeem. That was rather cute. Ayman Aqeem didn't scrap too much there, did he? He's a very sensible driver, is Tadashi.
A very wily character. He will know when to pick his fights. But as we've often seen, like in the E1 Championship, he does put his heart on his sleeve, and when things don't go right, he will literally be like one of the most, fiery characters to be around with, to say the least. I don't want to say anything more bad than that. But right now, he's probably just relishing the battle because he's not losing ground to Thasbeeh at all. He can actually have the benefit of the DRS next time round because Thasbeeh and indeed Naquib are not that far away. So he still has the opportunity as inside goes Nabil Azlan on Inigo Anton. So that now makes it a causeway 1, 2, 3, 4.
It certainly does. Inigo Anton pushed outwards. Josh Purwien has joined that little group of 6. Jinmas Vilton has got himself in there as well. We were on board with Light Sky. Light Sky has dropped out way out of the wrecking. Must have had a moment. But Jinmas Vilton is another you shouldn't count out too much. That's everything he's got in front of him as he puts DRS in. But he's in this race as well, Ammo.
Indeed, he is. The Super 7. Because there's about 7 of them in front. The next driver behind him is actually Jun Cheng Eng. So 8th place is definitely the best he could finish for right now. As Mes Vilton goes onto the inside, Josh Purwien. Purwien had a moment there coming out of the Remus corner as he tries to go through the inside there. Purwien holds it on the outside. They're going to go side by side here, coming to turn 4. This is going to be crazy here. Through the Roush curve, who's going to blink first? It's definitely Jin. He will actually have to hang back a bit. But Josh there, absolutely defending quite cleanly, and now they're going to have to regroup themselves here in order to catch back to the top 5, which is not that far away.
Josh Purwien, let's not forget, was the fastest in qualification. Muhammad Thasbeeh is the new race leader, and this is a significant moment because he's got nearly a second on Tadashi. Now, can he break the DRS? Is he going to get there? No, he probably isn't because they've just hauled him back. Tadashi will be within a second, but Thasbeeh made a move there, Ammo, which was interesting to see the least, but he couldn't break the DRS.
No, he can't. He's trying to break away. This is like where we mentioned the Tour de France. He's trying to break away from the peloton. That has not worked out. He only had 2/10 left, 0.2 seconds left that he could have actually made up that and break the DRS toe. Now, he's actually back within that clutching distance for everybody, and he is actually going to play sitting duck for this one, unless something dramatic happens right behind him, which will actually give him that breathing space. At the moment, at least, we're looking at Nabil Azlan. We rarely see him on camera. Looks amazingly like his brother, actually. The family resemblance is very strong. Not wearing glasses, though. He's sitting 4th, looking attentively at the front, trying to find which way through, including his own brother, as Ayman now trying his best to keep up with Thasbeeh, who has been doing so well here to not be overtaken.
This is, I tell you what, it's a power of concentration for all of these races, because it's not only trying to get the best position on the circuit, but it's also you're in a race, you're under that kind of pressure and competition. And with that in mind, Inigo Anton is not out of this race, Ammo. 2:08 to go. Inigo in P5 cannot be counted out.
No, sirree, none whatsoever. In fact, the Super 7 that we mentioned earlier has become a top 5 because Masvilton and Purwien have lost the DRS range to the top 5. So now it's going to be a battle for between these 5 guys for the first win of the Gold Class season.
And we will have 2 laps to go. Where would you rather be? Would you rather be leading at this stage, Ammo? I'll keep asking you because you've got great experience as an e-racer. Do we want to be leading or in P2 or 3 with 2 laps to go?
Anywhere behind the first 2, because I definitely don't want to be leading, and I don't want to be second because I would easily get swamped by the guys. So being a guy in 5th may not be such a bad thing because you're just watching brief of everyone in front. And if these 4 in front of Anton were to hit each other, he's got a golden opportunity to actually win the race.
Inigo Anton is the man in P5. Thasbeeh 1. Behind him, the pink of Ayman Aqeem Tadashi. Naquib Azlan. Beaten last season's championship by a single point because the man in 4th, Nabil, knocked him off the circuit. Inigo Anton in P4. There is Nabil and Naquib. Nabil in P4. It is nip and tuck. We are halfway around the penultimate lap. 45 seconds of the race to go, but they will cross the start finish line and there will be a sprint for the finish, Ammo Hazik.
Dash to the line indeed. Thasbeeh runs wide. Thasbeeh runs absolutely wide, and he gives Ayman the lead. Now, tactically, if he's smart enough, he will actually try to hang back and get the DRS. Because, look at that, right now Ayman has DRS, but once he crosses the line, that DRS advantage will end, and the rest of them will try to attack him for the lead.
They were all braking as they crossed that finish line, just to try to get DRS. Ayman Aqeem, he is the sitting duck. Look at that, Naquib takes a completely different line. Naquib will have DRS. He is in P2, he dragged Nabil through with him. Inigo Anton into P4, Thasbeeh's mistake has cost him. Is Naquib going to make his move around the outside of corner 1? Naquib is edged out. Naquib suddenly in P2 at the moment, but he's made his first move. Has he shown his hand too early, Amazik?
I think it might have been too early, but he's still got plenty of corners left to do, including this one. Coming out to Albon corner, I'm on the inside, Naquib on the outside. And remember, he only has a few more corners to use the DRS. No, that's the opportunity gone now, unless he can recover it in time. This is crazy stuff, and amazingly, Ayman still leads.
Ayman still leads, and look at this, as coming through is Muhammad Thasbeeh past Nabil on the inside. It is a last lap sprint. Ayman Aqeem Tadashi was the sitting duck, but he's pulled away 0.6 of a second from Naquib, who's made 2 unsuccessful attempts to take him. Thasbeeh goes on the outside, but Tadashi, is he able to hold on? Naquib under pressure, drops out. Thasbeeh takes a sensational victory. Nabil for P2, Thasbeeh 3, and Naquib in 3, Thasbeeh 4, Inigo 5. But Ayman Aqeem Tadashi Hazik. Wow. What a race!
And what a race as well. We kind of missed that a bit, but Nabil, in between his brother and Thasbeeh, managed to squeeze up to 2nd place. He managed to nick both of them at the line. What a finish to the first race of the season, and we can't wait for the second one that's coming out soon.
Wow, down in P12, Gav Quintos will be on pole alongside Mohamed Zini. Haris Zefi finished 10th, Simke Wern in 9. But there is Nabil, who came in P2. I understand why we're looking at him. Ayman Aqeem Tadashi, though, Amo, I must talk to you. How brave that was. I didn't expect him to be able to hold on for that last lap. Somehow, he was able to.
Oof. And I take back my words about being in first there. Yes, you normally first place, especially with people behind having DRS, is normally a vulnerable position. But somehow, he managed to fend off every one of them to hold on to this win. And that is why I say he's a wily character. He knows how to pick his moment. And this time, he absolutely picked the perfect moment to defend and hold on to that lead to the end.
I wasn't even looking at lap times, but the fastest lap looked like it's gone to Mohammad Thasbeeh, who will pick up 2 bonus points for that. But what a start.
So let's just try and see if we can talk to Nabil Azlan. Nabil, are you there? Can you hear us?
Yeah,
Can you please talk us through that last lap?
Yeah, in the last corner, Naquib kind of moved a lot of positions and Thasbeeh was there. Then I saw a gap through the middle. I just went through it. But I may have exceeded track limits, but I don't know. I got nowhere to go, so yeah.
Alright.
That's the only position I could go.
Okay, that was a brilliant maneuver, Nabil, and unfortunately we had to cut the interview short because we're gonna go straight with the second race. So good luck for that,
Oh, yeah.
and
Thank
you
you,
probably
thank
try to aim for the win.
Yeah.
Well, brilliant stuff. And a fair description. The races were going all over the track. Naquib. Well, I expected Naquib to be a lot more disciplined there around this Red Bull Ring circuit. There it is. There's so many straight, so many overtaking situations that the ability of Ayman Aqeem Tadashi to hold on is just takes the breath away.
Absolutely, and I would have been probably shaking in my boots if I were to be racing in his shoes at that time because the guys behind, when they have the DRS and when they're together in that train, they could easily overpower whoever's in front. But somehow, he managed to break that momentum for every one of them and hold on to that. So he might be wishing that he would not have to do that for the second race because he'll probably have the luxury of using DRS the whole way.
Deep intake of breath. We are at the Red Bull Ring Spielberg Grand Prix circuit. It is race 2 of round 1 of season 5 of the E-Racing GP. We are just about to get on board, and when we get all the drivers sorted out, we will get the pole positions. Nabil Azlan in P12, but Gav Quintos will be on pole position. The red lights are on at the moment. When they go out, we will be underway. Race 2 is up and running. Quintos off to a good start. So is Simke Wern. Haris Zephi extends his way into P2. Solid stuff and contact on the front. Haris Zephi is forced wide as Quintos says, "Get out of it. That's my corner."
Well, we know him as Bad Boy Gav Quintos, but that time I think it's just the first corner jitters when it comes in because you never know what's going to happen. Everyone around you is going to make any sort of brave maneuvers. As here comes Haris trying to go back at Quintos, but now this time, oh, someone spins. That looks like one of the Mercedes cars. He's now definitely going to be sent to the back of the grid.
Hey, I can tell you, Ayman Aqeem Tadashi is stuck on the start line.
Oh.
Ayman Aqeem, winner of race number 1 in such fabulous style, hasn't got off the start grid in race 2.
Oh no, it's like Adrian Ferguson. He actually got stuck on the line as well. So some technical issue happening to Ayman's car, and that will be disastrous for him because he will definitely would love to have extended his championship lead here coming into the second race. That is not what he wanted to do, and we'll probably get a word with him after this if he will be in the talking booth. But right now, we have to focus back in the race, and look at that, the top two have pulled a 1.3 second gap between themselves and Jin Masvilton. So the breakaway happened very early.
Certainly did. Behind them, Naquib Azlan has got himself alongside Simke Wern. So Naquib, who was pushed out of a podium finish in race number 1, he is looking to make amends there. That's the good thing about e-racing. Within seconds, you've got an opportunity to make amends for any mistakes that you've just done. But you've got to feel sorry for Ayman Aqeem Tadashi. He is out of the race. We're on board here with Jin Masvilton, who's in P3 and quietly efficient, but a second and a half down on Haris Zephi, who's the new race leader.
Yep, and he managed to get Quintos there. Oh, he might have run wide a bit, and Quintos might get back at him. Yes, he does. Quintos gets back at him into the lead of the race, and the DRS games, mind games, will now be in full force.
Gav Quintos from the Philippines in the pink, Haris Zephi in the Red Bull blue. He will have another little go. Quintos says, Hey, tell you what, have they got some history, those two?
Yeah, I think they might have been, especially the fact that they also raced together in the silver class. But that was a bit naughty from Quintos because you're not allowed to move at the very last second, because in F1 they introduced something called the Verstappen rule, where Max Verstappen is known to swerve underneath, and ironically he was actually doing that move against a car that was actually in Red Bull colours as well. So Quintos might get a reprimand from that if Haris was to report to the stewards. But that was very harsh defending from him.
While those two are scrapping away, Jin Masvilton has got himself happily into P3. So there is the Singaporean. Behind them, Australia's Josh Purwien, who was fastest in qualifying, let's not forget. He's in P4 ahead of the Naquib Nabil. You cannot split those two by any stretch of the imagination. They come in the same sentence, Naquib and Nabil, and they're currently in P5 and P6. Just ahead of Simke Wern, Ungjun Cheng, and Inigo Anton's got himself up into P9.
And, well, look at that. Oh! Quintos there nearly pushes Mesvilton out of the way after losing the lead to Harris. Now, Mesvilton tries to go through around the outside. They're still bumping and boring each other. Luckily that they have panels now like wheels in open wheel cars. As he tries to dive in on the inside. Harris goes wide, and it's now going to be a mad scrap all the way to Albon corner in turn 3. Look at that, almost 3 abreast, coming through second to fifth. This is absolutely maddening racing.
And the man who has got himself in the lead after all of that bumping and grinding is Josh Purwien. So he's worked his way through. But I tell you what, the battle between Quintos and Harris Zephy, neither was giving an inch there. They may be in sims in different parts of the world, but there's certainly a little bit of animosity between those two.
Judging by the looks of it, it looked like a bit of a storm brewing here over the mountains near Spielberg. Sorry, the Styrian Mountains here. But yeah, no time to dwell on that for either of the two, because Quintos in this case has lost out big time. He's now dropped to 5th. Harris still has a chance. He's just right behind Josh. And Josh also, just like Ayman, a very wily character. And he has absolute experience. He can choose his moment to try and defend as hard as he could. And likewise, Naquib will also try to choose his moment to actually get back at both of them. So this is still not over by any stretch of imagination.
Naquib Azlan as they move on to lap number 4. Can he time it better? Can he be a little bit more composed? He's right on the back of Harris Zephy. Uses the DRS to try to go through into P2. But Harris Zephy is defending. And Josh Purwien in the pink is there as well. And Harris is in combative mood today, certainly.
Ooh, a bit too combative, shall we say, because that was very hard defending. And now, he didn't have the opportunity to actually deploy the DRS in time because Naquib has gone through him. And he's attacking Josh around the outside.
Naquib Azlan eases his way into P1. Josh Purwien moves out to defend against Harris Zephy. Goes wide, does Naquib, but is able to get a good drive through. Looked like it made a slight mistake, but he's under pressure from Josh Purwien and Harris Zephy. And Josh, let's see if the two bridesmaids are together here. Let's see if one of them is able to become the belle of the ball.
Yeah, luckily they're not gonna be left at the altar because they're definitely gonna go at it for the king of the hill, shall we say? And now they're probably gonna work together because these two are endurance teammates. They race for the Axel team in endurance races. As Naquib goes wide and lets Josh through. That might have been tactical, I think, because he wants to have that DRS next time around. And look at it. He's actually using that DRS, and he'll get a second helping of that once he crosses the line.
A real pull through. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 are all close enough to have DRS. Muhammad Thasbeeh has been dropped, so the race winner from race number 1 was dropped. And in fact, Gav Quintos has overtaken. So it's a Fab 5 with 8:45 to race. Are the guys behind them, are Gav Quintos and Thasbeeh Ungjun Cheng able to get close enough? It's Purwien from Harris, from Naquib. Pick your two from them, from Jin Mesvilton, from Nabil, Nabil and his brother just cannot be separated.
And the two brothers are going on to the inside of their respective targets here. Oh, Josh really defended late there from Harris, and Harris had to take evasive maneuvers, but that might also make him vulnerable to Nabil behind. They're going to go side by side as Nabil failed to make the move on Mesvilton as well. So the Fat Five here still going at it, and there's no change in position. But having said that, look around the outside there. Naquib tries to go through. Can he make the move stick through turn 5? Just about. I think makes it. Yes, he does just about. But they're going to still go side by side here through the final sector.
Naquib Azlan moves up into P2, but there's been so much chopping and changing, at least 6 changes of race lead, but Josh Purwien is the man who is there. What's happened to Gav Quintos? Gav Quintos is in the pits, I'm afraid. Gav Quintos is out, so Josh Purwien is the man who, although he's leading at the moment.
And I'll be no surprises that Quintos actually got knocked out of the race due to infringement with either the collisions or cutting the corner somewhere, so that might have been justified given how high he was defending during the initial stages.
Halfway through the race, Purwien leads from Naquib. Then Naquib just retakes that. You said these two might be working together, and a bit with the lack of contact that we're seeing, Ammo, I think you've got a really good point. They do seem to be working together.
And it's paying dividends here. Look at that, because right now Josh is tucking behind Naquib's slipstream, and they're pulling a 6-10 gap to Harris. So if they pull an even bigger gap through the second and third sectors, if they get that draft together, they're gonna they're gonna get it soon, because there goes Harris into the gravel.
Harris Zephy is out. Big moment for Harris.
Oh, that's an absolute shame for him because he just lost it coming out of the corner and he got Albon in. Yeah, granted, he wasn't on the outside like what Albon did to Hamilton, but he's sure as hell just went into the barriers and into the grass and definitely out of the points now. He's dropped to 16th.
Jin Masvilton is the man in P3 at the moment, but there's a gap of over a second between Masvilton and the front two. So Naquib and Josh with 6.5 minutes to go. Masvilton is straining every sinew to try to get within a second. At the moment he is, but look how far off the circuit they are going. Is Masvilton close enough? The answer's no. Naquib and Josh have been able to break the DRS train.
And that's exactly what they would have wanted because the moment that those two got together and they can actually take each other's slipstream, they can pull away. And that, again, has paid dividends. 1.4 seconds that time around between Josh and Jin. So, the gap's already been broken. Now they just have to extend it a bit further before they can go at it themselves for the final, for who can actually take the race win.
I was going to say, when exactly do they start racing against each other? Because at the moment they're racing with each other, not against each other. When does that moment kick in when the whole dynamic changes?
Once they can know that the gap's already big enough, because if you're actually racing right now, you can see the heads-up display. The gap between yourself and the guy in third place, you can see it. So they might want to target at least around 2 to 3 seconds so that they can have a clear pathway to battle against each other, a license to fight, shall we say, to get the win. Right now, it's just too close, so they wouldn't want to battle yet.
Indeed, it's 1.7 seconds. Great explanation there from Amo Hazik, who is a gamer himself. Delighted to have him in the commentary for this season. Jin Masvilton in P3 at the moment. Joaquim Garrido's also had problems. Joaquim is another who's in the pits. We might have problems with the Philippines connection, but that's not seeming to hurt Naquib Azlan or Jin Masvilton or Josh Purwien. Purwien leads onto lap 8 from Naquib. 2 seconds clear of Masvilton, who's got Nabil and Thasbeeh close behind them.
Well, that's a different battle altogether because they're now in 2 separate groups at the front. And here's Josh now having to look behind. He's not looking in the mirrors. Now he's looking there for a second. He's gonna let Naquib through, and they're probably gonna share each other's slipstream again, at least until the final 2 minutes, I reckon, so that they're gonna go at it for the win.
E-Racing GP, Season 5, Race 2 of Round 1 with the Red Bull Ring, the blue car of Naquib Azlan, runner-up last season by a single point, leading the pink of Josh Purwien from Australia. These two, if they race it right, will be battling for victory and a potential championship lead in the overall championship standings at the end of round 1. There have been 1 or 2 incidents though, Amo, so race control may well still be called in to make some deliberations.
Indeed, and the fact that some of the defending questionably like from Gav Quintos may be brought up in the next driver's briefing, but so far at least about, you can say, 80% of driving has actually been clean, and the racing is a sight to see, to be honest.
We'll just break away from these two for a moment. Nabil Azlan is leading a 4-way train for P3. Nabil in P3. Thasbeeh from Singapore in 4. Masvilton also from Singapore in 5. And the pride of the Philippines, Inigo Anton in P6. There is Nabil in shot, but Inigo Anton might fancy being able to get onto a podium here, Amo. 3 minutes to go. That's 3 full laps still to go.
Yep, and it's a 4-way fight for the final place on the rostrum as Nabil then loses position to Thasbeeh. Thasbeeh has the DRS obviously because that's how he can power through, and he couldn't get the DRS from Josh that time round, so he's now basically sitting duck for the whole lap until at least he could actually still stay behind Thasbeeh within a second to get back that DRS and try to re-attack him.
Naquib Azlan is 2.5 seconds clear of Muhammad Thasbeeh, so those front two are looking very, very secure. This is the battle for P3. Thasbeeh in yellow from Nabil in grey. Jin Masvilton and Inigo Anton. I'm waiting for Anton at some stage to make a move, Amo, or am I waiting in vain?
Well, you might not be too disappointed because he does actually know when to make the moves. But yeah, unlike that first race where he couldn't make it, he'll try to do it this time as something happened there to Jing Cheng. I think he just dropped a bit wide and... oh!
Masvilton!
No, it's Masvilton! The BMW is out of the race, so... one contact too many and he's out. That's a real shame there, but at least that's one Hamilton clan member out. The other one's still fighting for a podium, and he's well within sight of that because he's about almost a second ahead of Nabil. Does he get the DRS? No, he doesn't. He's more than second ahead. He's well and truly clear for third place.
So Thasbeeh, there will be 2 full laps to go. Thasbeeh goes wide, but Nabil Azlan is under pressure from Inigo Anton, and Inigo implements the DRS, and Inigo will move through into P4 ahead of Nabil, who got himself a podium in race 1, did Nabil. May well be out of the podium reckoning for race 2, but will be desperate to pick up 13 rather than 11 points in this battle, this head-to-head with Inigo Anton.
Indeed, it might be early days, but due to the short nature of the championship, because we only have 10 races over the span of 5 rounds, every single point counts. And for the likes of Ayman Aqeem and James Wilton, who would like to battle for that crown for being the first non-Alif Hamilton or non-Dylan Tyne champion, that will take a bit of a dent. So they have to come back for the next round stronger here to battle for the guys in front.
Very briefly, I just need to mention the likes of Lai Sky, who's leading Paul Faustino, Sim K-Wern and Darren Even. That's a battle for P7. Mohammed Zini from Singapore is in P11. Ruben Leon on debut is in P12. Wei Seong 13. Haris Zefi, who was doing so well earlier on, is down in P14. And Zuriel Sumadabilio, former bronze winner, is in P15. Back up to the front though, on to the final lap. Naquib Azlan leads over the line onto the final lap, but Josh Purwien Amoazik is the man who will have DRS. But is he close enough?
Well, not yet, not that time around, but he does have the DRS because he was within half a second there when they crossed the line. Now the gloves are off, they have a license to hammer, and they can hammer at it, hammer and tongs for the final lap.
Naquib defends at this corner. It was such a brave race 1 where Ayman Aqeem Tadashi was able to hold on under the most immense pressure for a full lap. Naquib is trying to replicate that. Ayman Aqeem will not get any points today. He was left on the line. Naquib under pressure as Purwien tries to go around the outside. Naquib defends. It's a stellar drive from Naquib Azlan at the moment, Amo.
Indeed, and the fact that Naquib defends so well and he knows how to attack as well. He's shown qualities of a really good driver, but he gets knocked out a bit by Josh there. Goes very wide. Josh takes the lead.
Josh Purwien from Australia, pole setter, has the lead, and has he timed this perfectly? He's just taken the initiative coming into the final quarter of the lap. Naquib may well have to settle for P2 as Purwien leads the way. Josh Purwien from Australia, last corner, Purwien against Naquib. Naquib maybe tries to get right on the corner, but Josh Purwien takes 25 points in the victory. Naquib Azlan in P2, Thasbeeh 3, Anton 4, Nabil Azlan in P5, and a smirk of satisfaction from Australia-based Josh Purwien.
Yep, okay, I can, yes.
Yeah.
It's working now. Hello. Hello.
Well done. It's been a whole year since you won a race in e-racing GP.
Yeah, it's been a while. I was hoping to get it done in race 1, but I got a puncture at turn 2, which I had to kind of manage the entire race, so I kind of just dropped back. So put me in a decent position for race 2. Me and Naquib broke away from the field, and we could have our own battle. But then with a couple laps to go, the same sort of puncture happened. It's a puncture. It's like, it doesn't really affect your lap time too much. It's probably only like half a second, but it makes it tougher to turn the car and your wheels vibrating a lot. So I had to kind of manage that, so I struggled a lot trying to get past him on that last lap, but I ended up doing it, and yeah, cool.
Well done, mate. Good job.
Also picking up the bonus 2 points for the fastest lap in race 2 as well, Josh. That's a very satisfactory start for you, and winning must give you a vast amount of confidence.
Yeah, of course, getting that win out of the way is good. I haven't won since round 1, season 1, so yeah, it's good to get that out the way, and I should be near the front of the championship, I think, but because of pole and stuff. But I think my 6th place will hurt me a bit in the championship standings.
Wow, still a long way to go. Well done.
Yeah.
You're obviously going to be gunning for the championship for sure.
Yeah, that's the aim. Yeah.
Brilliant work from Josh Purwien. Thanks for joining us, and good luck. Round 2 is next week, so you get a lot of practice in there, fella, and let's see how it goes. But Ayman Aqeem Tadashi, Alex Young, won race number 1, looked supreme, held off a big challenge, and then left on the starting grid on race number 2.
Yeah.
Such are the problems sometimes of e-racing.
Sometimes it happens. Like we had Mikko Nasios who couldn't even get into the game at the start, so he missed today completely. But that's why we have drop scores. If you have a mechanical issue in between rounds 1 to 4, you can drop scores from one of them. In fact, everyone has to drop scores the round that they score the least points in. So you can still recover. It's not over yet for those drivers. They can come back strong. More importantly, they look very strong. But, Des, what exciting racing. I mean, really, you won't get any more exciting racing anywhere else on the planet. It's really fantastic. These boys put on such a great show. I really enjoyed it. I mean, Josh Purwien with his first win in so long. Naquib Azlan with second position. I think they're going to be very close in the championship after this. And we got lots more racing to come.
We certainly do. This is just round 1 of 5 of E-Racing GP Season 5. If it is like this, if it is like the last race of last season, if it is like the previous 4, you don't want to be missing it. From Alex Young, I'm Des Corkill. We'll catch you next time on E-Racing GP Global Edition.